Hello and welcome, this is Deborah, and today I have set myself a bit of a challenge. I have these old envelopes, they're just window envelopes, and I also have pulled out of my stash this plastic envelope full of scraps. Now the challenge is to use just the scraps and the envelopes and make a journal. The problem is I don't actually know what's in here because as I get scraps I've just been putting them into these 12 by 12 plastic sleeves that I have, and I thought that I would see how I go with challenging myself in this way, and you can come along for the ride. Oh gosh, and there's all sorts of things in here. I am going to allow myself to use some adhesive, so I've got some double-sided tape and obviously scissors, and I've even got a little old ink pad that I will use if I need to. But let's look at what's in here. Gosh, okay, so there's all sorts of acetate. Oh, I'm saved because there's at least one piece of lovely 12 by 12 paper, but then there's all this other stuff. Photos, oh gosh. See, it's amazing what you put away and just forget about. So let's see how we go. I'm going to start by trying to construct the envelope journal. And I want to make use of the actual window of the envelope. So I have done journals with envelopes before, but not with this window in them. And I think that's really cool. So I want to try and feature that as part of the journal. And as you can see, these are very old. They've got no stick left on them at all. I also want to make use of the pocket. So, you know, I don't want to just seal them up and use them like a page, although I could do that. I thought it might be more challenging if I actually say I'm going to use a pocket with them. So I thought I'd start by, again, this is live, I'm winging it. I've not done anything in terms of any background prep for this. I've just thought, let's go for it and see what we can come up with. So if I put that pocket there, I wonder how that would go. It might be better if I flip it and put the pocket, slip it in backwards. So I've got one envelope that's like there, and then this one, I had it this way, but I flipped it over and folded it back. And I'm going to have to cover where the adhesive has soaked in, but I guess that's all part of recycling. And I could just throw all these in the bin and throw all my scraps away, but you know, where's the fun in that? I wonder if I stick that in there, if that would make a bit of a pocket. And then I need to add the pages in. So where would I put my next? Just see if I fold this back, where would my next page go? Let me think about this for a moment. I could put a whole bunch of them in here, couldn't I? And then have the pages like that. And just leave that open. Or I could put, there you go, I think we're getting somewhere now. If I put one on here, like that, and then that's going to create a wider journal, isn't it? I turn it over and tuck it in like I had it before. So maybe I could do it this way. I want a few pages in this journal. I just don't want it to be 2 pages because, you know, that wouldn't be very good if I'm going to have a lot of things tucked in it. And so I've just tucked that other one in. So I've got an opening here, an opening here. And I don't have an opening there, so I'm going to definitely stick that down. Let's see where this takes us. One under there, one under there. So if I keep going with this methodology of folding the paper back like that, tucking it in, and then folding it back and then this could be the back cover then. Oh, I've got 2 on the back cover. Well, that's okay. I could have 2 on that back cover. It seems to work fine. So let's just put a few more in. So it's really just because I found these old envelopes that I thought I would then set myself this challenge. And you could do it just with normal envelopes. So in terms of size, this is what we call a DL envelope, but it's got a window in it here in Australia, which is basically the size of an A4 piece of paper folded in thirds. So just slightly smaller than a US letter size. Our A4 papers are. Not that much smaller though, just slightly smaller. So if I had that, I just wanted to see how I'd go in terms of, so it's going to stagger them a little bit because I'm putting one inside the other. So even when I do that, I'm still got a bit of staggering in there. So you can see there it's going to be a bit like that. But I do think that's okay, and I quite like the idea of having them like this as well. So I might put a couple more on this side. Because they're not really thick, I think I can get away with 4 on this side. And then tuck the 4 of them in here like this. Let's see how we go with that. Okay, so then I've got 3, 4 there, and then that would come around there to form the spine. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 8. So I've got 10 altogether. So I've got 4 facing this way and 6 facing, or 1 that way, and then the 5 in the centre. I might put 1 more in here just so it's, we've got 5 on either side plus the 1 that brings it all together. Okay. That's going to be quite a nice size in terms of a journal. Now I guess I'll put them all together and we'll see how we go. So to just put them together, I'm just going to take the 4 that I had before, fold them down and put some tape across the spine. I'm just putting the tape at the top of the envelope. The reason is that I'll have to put something on here anyway, so I'm not going to waste my tape by putting it on both sides, because I need to put it on there regardless, because that's, you know, not very pretty to look at. And although I want to recycle, I still want to have it so it looks nice. Okay, I've got that caught on there. I'm going to have to pull that off. The beauty of double-sided tape. Of course, if you use something like a red line tape, it's not going to have this flexibility to be able to pull off again, but this is just standard double-sided tape that I'm putting on here and just lining those up. So once you've put your tape on, just line it up and then fold the top down. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So now these are the ones that are stuck on this side, and that's going to go in there like that. And then I'm just going to take these ones out and put all of them together. And to get them lined up, I'm just putting them together again and then folding them so that those two pieces are stuck together. And then just repeat the process for the ones after that. Now these ones sit in here, so first of all let's stick this lot in. So that's the lot that's in the same, the opening on this side here. Put some tape down here. So the tape is on here, on this part of the envelope, so I just want to make sure that when I line that up, I get that in there properly. So I actually might do it the other way. I think maybe this is a better way to do it. Oh, okay, I'm not sure. Let's just get this in here. So I've got that in there, so it's nice and firm, and it's actually on the crease there. So that piece will come across there. And then these are the other group of envelopes that I did, and that's actually folded back like that. So the piece is going to go in there, and then that'll be folded back like that. That's got to sit in there, so I need to put some tape under there. Okay, all right. Let's put the tape down first. I'm matching up the two curved parts of the envelopes, so I'm just making sure that they match up. Stick that in, and then I can, because this is only a single envelope, I'm just going to pull that edge out like that. There you go. And then I'll use my scorer just to score that down. That's stuck down, and I can still get into my windows, because that's what I really wanted, was to be able to use the windows in each of the envelopes. Hey, I've still got a whole stack left. I'll be able to make another whole journal with those, but for now I'm going to see what I've got. Let's okay, so the next step is to work out what I'm going to do to decorate these up. I have no idea. Let's look what's in here. That is a piece of watercolour that I've obviously, watercolour paper I've done some sort of a decoration on. I've got some stamps. I've got paper bag, tissue, bits of tea-dyed paper, printed out stuff that I've ripped apart. Got a library card that's obviously a printed image, that one. Some acetate and more tissue. What else have I got? Oh, okay, so I've got some pages with some old photos and maps and things in them. That's pretty cool. More acetate. Some more pages, something I've stamped on. Oh, even got some jelly prints in here. Oh, some fabric. It's amazing what you find in your pack of stuff. You go through it and you don't really realise it, do you? Oh, some old tea-dyed paper. Yes, as I said, lots of interesting sorts of things are in here. I really like these too. These are some black and white images. Oh, that's a watercolour that I was trying, and then on the back of the watercolour paper I've printed out some of these gel prints from my gel press. Just been playing around with things. And I don't know how I'm going to go in terms of the size of things. And there's some more prints. So this is a new stamp that I had. Just been playing around with new stamps, obviously. So I do want a bit of a theme. I just don't want to randomly stick things on, because, you know, that's, to me, that's not very good design. So, oh, lost my journal. Here it is. Don't worry. Here it is. Oh, I've even got a tiny little photo there. That's cute. I'll have to use her. So I thought maybe I'll just start in the middle. It's as good a place as any, isn't it? And I've got this flap here, but I think I'm just going to put some stuff down on that to get rid of that flap. So I don't want that flapping around. And then I'm going to stick some stuff on top of that. And this is a really old sheet of music. And I might create a little collage in the centre here with this. I think that's what I'll do. I'm just using a glue stick on here. It's only paper to paper. And I'm just going to put some, I'll put some of the glue stick down on this side. And then I'm going to stick some of this vintagey music on that I've got here. I'm just slightly off the edge, because when I put something in that envelope I don't want it to catch on there. That's why I've just gone slightly off the edge. And I need a bit of something down here. It's a bit of old pattern paper that's sitting in my stash as well, so I could put a bit of that down on here. I did put some glue on there as well before. Stick a bit more on here. Just let that dry for a moment. See what else I've got. And I've got a piece of paper here. I'll stick some on that on here as well. Then up on here, I've got a little white gap. I'll repeat that paper. So I haven't stuck it, like there's no glue under part of this, but I've just put it on there for now, and I'll let it dry, and then I'll rip whatever isn't stuck off. See how I did that? I just ripped that bit off and rip this bit off. I don't mind if it's a bit raggedy around the edges. I think that's fine, no problem at all. And now I want another piece of something. Let's see, what have I got here? Oh, I've got these cool images. Look at those. Obviously something that I've printed out there. And I've got some tags. Been playing around with some tags. So tags might look quite good there, mightn't it? Yeah, I think I could use those tags in a moment. See what else is in here. I want something a bit firmer to poke into the envelope. Actually, I'll see if I've got, it's a bit of Tim Holtz paper, obviously left over from something that I did. I just think I'm going to poke that in. Go around here and check this out. There's a bit of glue there. Put it face down because what's coming through the window there. Right. I really want to see the image in the window because that's what this is all about, the windows. And what have I got in that window? I put that down. This is going to be a bit of trial and error to get what you want where you want it. So it makes a really cool thing. Just poking that in. Okay. So this image here of this chap, I want him showing further in the window, and if I poke it in like that, you can see I'm not going to quite get him. In fact, I'm not either, because that's the end of the piece of paper. And I also want it to come all the way out. So I'm just going to mark that and cut that. I'm just cutting it with the scissors. I could cut it with the cutter, it'd be a lot straighter, but I'll just cut it with the scissors now. And then that's going to go in there. So I get this little airline, and he's almost in there. You can almost see him. Perhaps if I cut the bottom off a little. I'm just taking a tiny bit off the bottom and try again. Oh yes, look at that. So I've got him in the window and I've got the plane. Now, because I don't want to stick him, I'll put a bit of tape on the top here, and he's poked into the envelope. So in theory, he should stay. That's the theory anyway. There he is in there. Okay, so can you hold that up to the camera? Oh, sorry. There he is there, poking into the window. That's really cute. And then on the back, I'm just probably going to put some sort of strip there. But before I do that, I need to put something in this window. So let's have a look at what can go in this window. I'm wondering if that would fit. Well, let's see if this will fit. I don't want a gap, so I'm making sure that I don't cut it down too small. Even though I'm just testing it, I still want to have it so that I can get that in the window. A tiny little bit too big for that window, you know. It's almost the right size. Still, I think it'll be looking through the window of a shopping, you know, looking through a window of a shop. That you won't see it all, but you'll just see a little taste of what's in the shop. Okay, and it definitely needs to go down. All right, so that's pretty cool. So again, I'm just going to trim this up just for the bulk more than anything. And make sure that's tucked against that line, because when I fold it back, then I get that. In fact, it can come up a tiny little bit, so I get a bit more. Yeah, that's a better position. This is a bit of fiddling around, a bit of trial and error really, but as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm cool with playing This is part of what crafting is about to me, is just to, you know, this is the creative part, I think. It's not all about the perfection. Look at that, how cool is that? And on this side I can do something, you know, with a similar theme to that. Now down here I want to put something on this side, and then I'm going to put a strip, I don't know what yet, but I'm going to put some sort of a strip down there. Now, what have I got here? I do have this piece of paper, which is obviously from the Tim Holtz Memoranda paper stack, and it's 12 by 12. I could, you know, kind of put that down there, but is that cheating? I don't know. Am I being a bit of a, taking the easy route by just selecting a piece of paper that looks like that? That's not long enough, and I do need something that's going to be long enough. And I do have these little houses that I've done. I'm wondering if I use this as a background, if I could, you know, colour that at some point. Maybe that's part of, you know, something to do, is to give this some colour. And then if I could find another background for here, I could have this little tag. In fact, I could have a little pocket with that tag. It's a bit messy on the back, but you could still write on that. I'm just thinking how I could, I'm just wondering how I could do this to create that background. I've got a couple of pages where I've just been playing with odd stamps and things. Maybe I could put one of those down the centre and also one on the side. So just let me check. So I need, so 3 and just shy of 3.5 for this piece here. It's 3 3/8, and in the centre, oh, there's that little girl. In the centre, I need 2.5 inches for this centre piece here. So what I might do is just cut. I'm going to make it more so it actually tucks in. So probably 3 inches wide, and then 3 3/8. So how big's my paper? It's 8 1/4. So if I have 3 6, that'd leave 2 1/4. Although if I, oh no, see, it's not wide enough that way. It needs to go the length. But I can use the rest in a collage. I'm just going to cut that up and see how I go. I've cut these up so that hopefully they fit in here. See how we go with fitting them in. There might be, they need a bit more taken off the end. I'll take another 1/4 inch off this end. That one in there, and then I'm going to pull it back because I want it under these. Oh, do I? No, actually I don't want it under that flaps at all, do I? I want it on top of those flaps. I want it on top of the flaps, but I do want a little bit to go into the thing there. So where's the pencil? Like I said, this is going to be fiddly, so I'm just going to get my pencil and mark these edges. And I probably only want a tiny bit to go in, like this much. So let's see on the other side. And now I'm just using the line I've put on this side to make a little mark, remembering that this is, you know, not going to be perfectly straight. I'll just notch those out. The same up here. I'll just do a little notch in the corner here. I don't know whether that'll be enough, but we can always fix it if it's not. Okay, notch those out. The reason I put those notches in is I do want it to go under the flap there. but I still want to cover both the edges, so maybe it's a tiny bit too short now. Let's put it under here and see how that goes. Yeah, so I've probably cut it a little bit too short here, but I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. I think that's fine for me. That's fine. Put some stuff on the back now. I guess it's my game, my rules, and I can change them if I want to, because now I'm thinking that I'll probably put some washi tape to fix these things. And I thought, well, I didn't say I was going to use washi tape in the beginning, did I? No, but my game, my rules, ladies. Oh, and gents, if there's any gents watching, I'm going to use some washi tape. This washi tape will cure all sins. So I'm just going to get some washi tape. There we go. So I've got this black and white washi, which is quite cool. Might be a bit thick, but you can always cut it lengthways, can't you? And I like the black and white, the idea of the black and white. So I've put that up the other way, I think. I must have, because now it's just on the border of the bottom. And of course now it's not going to fold over, but that's what bone scorers are meant for. I'm just going to score gently through there and see how we go, and then score it down here. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So that's just reusing a bit of old stuff that I was using to play around with. And I've got the pocket in here. I've got that there. This one over here with the little thing. Now I'm ready to trim this off. And I'm not worrying too much about how neatly I trim that. Let's just come off that edge a little. It's fine. And chop a bit off here. And then I'm just going to peel some of this back. That's just where it's stuck on. And if I peel some back, then it gives them more of a accidental look, so it doesn't look like I've perfectly placed things. I'll get my little piece of, this is a very, very old ink pad, as you can see, super old. And I'm just going around the edges with that. I even do the edges of this. And why not? We'll do the edges of this paper here too. Yep, that's cool. Okay. Right. Yep. So I've got a little space in there now where I can tuck something. And in fact, where's that tag? Here. So I've got a tag that I can tuck in there now. It's not too bad. It'll come out. I could make a little pocket here for it as well, couldn't I? No, I don't think I'm going to make a pocket. No, I think I'm going to leave it. I really like the look of this paper and the way this is looking very cool inside. In fact, I'm going to give that a little bit more ink. And yes, I could get my sponge out and I could use my sponge to ink this, but I'm really liking this sort of rough texture that this old ink pad. It's not a very wet ink pad. It's so old. You can probably see from the, there you go. Look how the top of that is all completely mashed up. Lots of inking has happened with this, and I've re-inked it several times. I've got so much collage going on here and also here that I probably want to do something that's not quite as collagey on this other side. So let's see what we've got, shall we? Gosh, I've really got a heap of stuff. I had no idea at all that I had so much stuff here. what can I do? This is another piece of watercolour card that I've been playing with backgrounds on. Let's just check what we've got here. Oh, so I do have this piece of tissue. I think I'm just going to stick this piece of tissue down on here. Before I do that, I'll just stick the flap down. I'm just using some glue stick. Glue stick's quite good for tissue because tissue's so thin. If you put a wet glue on, it'll bleed through, and if you put double-sided tape, which is my go-to adhesive, I haven't had much success with that on tissue for the same reason. It's just too thin. Let me turn it up this way so my writing is facing me to some extent. And I've got a crinkle in there, but that's cool. Love a crinkle. Why not? Again, I'll just let that dry before I start to pull it away. And I'm just going to put a bit more down here so that we get it stuck on nice and firmly. Make sure my pocket's still there. Yes, it is. Still got a little pocket in there. Let's flip that over and keep going. Should have put it on this side, shouldn't I? Because I've got the sewing thing happening on this side, but too late now, too late. I wanted to get these in somewhere, but that's a little bit big. This is another tag I've just found in here. In fact, that would fit on there as well. Now let's just see what else we've got. See what else we've got. What I've also got here is that little vintagey photo that I had before, and I thought that I might put it in this corner. See how the papers come away on that corner? I'm going to stick this little photo down here just so I've got a coverage there. I could leave it, but I just think this photo is really cute anyway. And it's a perfect size to stick in this corner to create that. So now the next part would be to do something on this envelope here. And I've got this really cool image that I've done using my gel press at some point. I know I did a few like this, just playing around with getting that sort of ghosty image. And I really like it with the image that is inside the window of the dress form. I'm a bit of a mannequin nut. I love them. So I think I'm going to make this go in here. Start by cutting the bottom off. I'm going to keep this because I like the words that are on the top. It says Diary of the Reverend James North. This is for the term of his natural life, obviously this book that I've chopped up, but I quite like that there. And then I want to get that image in here, but equally I want to have the picture showing. So again, I'm using my steel ruler to slice that off, and then if I put that there, then it's just going to go here. I'll take my ruler. I don't want that image in the window to be covered at all. And just pull that down on this side too. Okay, and then I might take the top of it off because that white edge is a bit stark. And I like that the ripped effect too. That's nice. I'm going to stick that down. Then I'm going to put this bit down here. I quite like that, to have the diary page there. And stick this down so I've got the words in. And then I can come back and cut that once it's dry. Things are much easier to cut once they're dry, so I tend to leave them until they've dried before I start chopping them off. But I do need something for here, which I'm not just going to cover this little bit here. I'm going to go across so it's got a bit more design to it. In fact, here's some music paper that I can put on there. Get that collage thing happening again here. So I'm not thinking about it too much, and I think that's a better way to go. I think if you think about things too much, you'll over-design it. So if you just kind of think, oh, what can go on there? I'll stick this down or that down. I think you'll get a nicer looking collage. Well, that's my take on it anyway. Whether that's other people's takes, I don't know. But that's my take on the whole thing. And I do need something to sit up here. Well, I go back to something that's a ghostly black image. I think this is when the washi is coming into play. Lovely washi tape. And it's the perfect size, would you believe, to sit down the edge of the envelope here. Look at that. It's perfection. It is perfection. Let's trim some of this up, shall we? Trim that up and get this one and trim it. Again, I'm just letting the scissors do the work. You can see it's not straight, it's not perfect, but to me that's the beauty. I think there's beauty in imperfection, and perfect is just overrated. I mean, who's perfect? I'm sure there are some perfect people in the world, but I'm not one of them, let me tell you. Got this cool image this is from a Stamperia Voyager's Fantastic paper that I've got and I've been playing with, but I think I'll save that for another section of the book. Here's a little birdie. Okay, maybe something like that, but not quite as... Maybe I can have it so it sticks out, but I probably want to cut that away. So I'm just going to score that and trim. And I'm going to put that down here, but I need something for this piece here first. Let's see, what can I put there? Actually, I've got this black paper. This is another piece of book page that I have been practicing my gel press with. But if I put this down here and then put that on it, how does that look? I think that's quite cool. Okay. Yep, I think that's going to go down there. Down, and then this is the tag that I'm going to stick on. Now I'm going to use some double-sided tape to stick this on because that's a heavier weight, this tag. It's a manila tag, so I want it to be nice and firm. I just have to work out where the tape's got to go. Okay. And then a piece at the top here to hold it all on. I think that's a pretty good start for the journal. I'm probably going to stop there and come back and finish it with you next time, or at least do some more on it, because it's quite a lot of work to get to this point. But you know, it's been a fun sort of hour. Maybe not an hour for you, because obviously I edit my videos, just to get them better for you so you don't have to listen to things like the dogs next door barking or the mailman arriving on his little motorbike or the dryer beeping because it's telling me that it's finished and it's time to get my washing out. You don't want to put up with all the humdrum of my everyday life, but I think that's good. So let's just see where we got to. I put the envelopes together and I've started by putting something in that little window, and then I've done this collagey sort of effect here, and then on the next page I've done this so far with the different bits of paper. So I'm just going to put all of this paper back into my plastic envelope, and I will pull it out again next time. I promise I won't cheat. I won't add more to it. I've already added the washi tape, so I hope that you forgive me for that, but I never thought that I should have thought, because I use washi tape. I mean, washi tape will cure all sins, in my opinion. That's just my thoughts. So I'm just going to stick all of this back into the plastic sleeve along with this little envelope thing, and then I'll come back and finish it next time and see how we go and see if it actually turns out to be something that we think that we like. Because, you know, it's no good if you don't like it, is it? You're probably going to go, oh, that's horrible. But so far, I'm really happy with that. I think it's doing well. So I'll catch you next time. This is Deborah, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers.